Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome and happy Saturday. Today feels very relaxed and exciting. Carol is going to be sharing one of my favorite, most empowering lessons today that will really help you take a quantum leap. So today is day 5 of the final YL Success Secrets workshop of the year. My name is Katie Vaughn, and I am Carol's creative director and the host of this workshop. And I am also here to help you in any way. You can message me in our private Telegram group, YL Success Secrets. And today, Carol is going to be sharing specifically what has helped her and so many of her clients achieve success. And what that means for our lesson today is what's on the other side of your greatest fear? How do we push through that terror barrier when you come up against it and move and get to the next level, whether it's your rank in young living or your happiness, how you're feeling, letting go of some old stuff, or whether it's your health goals or sharing your oils. And speaking of oils, today Carol's going to be sharing with you valor, surrender, and humility. As she talks about getting on the other side of your greatest fear. Just think about that, like getting on the other side of your fear. What would open up for you? So I encourage you to join our brand new YouTube channel, which you just go to YouTube, type in Carol Howden, and it will pop right up. And also join the Telegram group, YL Success Secrets, if you are not already in there. It's a very intimate, close-knit group where you can share wins, be with like-minded oilers, and also have direct access to Carol. So let's get into it today. And so for those of you who don't know, who are maybe watching this video live for the first time, seeing Carol's trainings, or maybe you're watching this on the replay, Carol is highly trained in the use of essential oils. And she has been teaching and empowering on the use of essential oils in daily life for over 20 years. And she had the privilege of being schooled and mentored by the absolute best. So she worked side by side with the world's most renowned authority on essential oils, Gary Young. She had the privilege and the honor of working with him directly and being for many years. And so this lineage of information and that she has from Gary to share with you today is amazing. So in recent years, she has also had the privilege of working with and being mentored one-on-one by Mr. Bob Proctor. And he is the world's most sought after authority on mindset and human potential. If you're not familiar with Bob Proctor, you're probably familiar with the movie or the book, The Secret. And Bob was a star in that movie. And so Carol's actually combining what she learned from both Gary Young and Bob Proctor about essential oils and mindset and human potential, and combining these two modalities in a completely unique way to help you to live the most fulfilling life possible, to achieve your goals, to be happy, to be healthy, to be abundant. So this work, when you apply it into your life using your essential oils and the tools that Carol is sharing today with your thinking, you can do, be, and have anything you desire. So I am going to share again a quote directly from Bob Proctor that is really pretty amazing. Carol worked side by side with Bob Proctor for many years. And this is what he had to say about Carol. So don't take it from me. If you don't want to, take it from Bob. He said, I'm just going to read this. Carol is an extraordinary lady. If you have the opportunity to sit down with her, for goodness sake, sit down with her. She earns millions of dollars and she can show you how to do the same. She does it in such a calm, confident manner. If you get a chance to sit down with Carol Howden, sit down with her because she could show you how to get whatever you want. That's directly from the legendary Bob Proctor. And so with that, if you want to take Bob's advice and sit down with Carol, this is your chance. And let's learn about what's on the other side of your fear. Carol, are you here and ready to share with us?
I am. Thank you, Katie.
Awesome. You're welcome.
When you say that, it makes me chuckle. Bob used to always say, Bob's here. Anyway, thank you so much, Katie. Thank you for hosting this whole entire week. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. You do such a great job. And so welcome everybody else. I see that we have a few less with us live today, but that is okay because quite a few people told me that they were going to be on replay because it's Saturday and they had other things to do. And that's good. I understand that. That's why we post the replays. That's why we keep it available, or at least it's one of the reasons why. So for anybody who is watching live, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. And I hope that you can participate with me a little bit in the chat. And if you're watching on replay, participate as though you were live. So welcome to day 5. I hope that you're all as enthused as I am for this day and for this information. You know, Bob always told us not to be excited about something because excitement comes from the outside. You know, if something out there is good, we're excited about it. Or if something out there is not good, then we're disappointed with it or whatever. He said, be enthused because that affects every cell in your body. And that's a level that just stays level all the time because it's cellular. It's not determined by the outside world. And so let's get our enthusiasm up for this material and this work. And for what? For what we did on day 1. Write down your goal. So I hope that you picked up your pen and they wrote down your goal. And if you haven't, do it now. Do it now. And if you don't still know what your goal is, then that's maybe this day, this material today is all the more valuable for you. You know, Katie already mentioned about the terror barrier and what's on the other side of your fear. We all have a paradigm around the unknown or around what we call the terror barrier. And so this lesson is very powerful in freeing you from that fear. And, you know, do you even know what a terror barrier is? Maybe that's a good place to start. You know, maybe this is a good place to start. Yesterday, both Katie and I mentioned, you know, the mentorship program, the coaching program that's available. That's an opportunity for you to join. And, you know, maybe even thinking of a decision that could be for you. What kind of a feeling does that bring up? Does it bring up a feeling of resistance or a little bit of like, or have you been thinking about your goal? And you think about your goal and you think about action steps you might have to take. And did it make you feel a little jittery inside? Maybe even physically uncomfortable. That's the terror barrier. It's the fears that come up inside of us because of something that we're thinking or something that we're facing or a decision that we need to make. And so this lesson is perfect. And our oils for, let's go for our oils today. So our oils today are surrender, humility, and valor. And we're going to start in that order. So we're going to start with humility. So why humility? No, surrender. Surrender first. Surrender and then humility and then valor. I have surrender in my hand. So why this order? You know, at the very first of this 5-day workshop, we started out with valor. So Generally speaking, I like to start with valor and end with valor. Valor is not only something that gives us courage, but it helps to lock in any change that's been made. So we're going to go through these again. But so let's start with surrender. Well, that was a big surprise. The orifice is out of my bottle and it's empty. I'm not sure how that happened. There's no oil in it. Surrender. Oh, you can tell I love this oil. Surrender is an oil that helps us to overcome resistance and the fear of movement, the fear of getting into action. And anyway, I don't have any to do it with. So, but put some in your hand, just smooth the palm of your hand, take deep inhalations. Just take some deep inhalations of that oil. And often we think about surrender or surrendering as a weakness, kind of like a giving up. But really, when you surrender, you let go of resistance. You let go. This is in relationship to yourself, to your goal, to your dreams, to the things that are meaningful to you, the things that you want to do and are afraid to do. You surrender to it. You give up the resistance. And it helps you to get over the fear of moving into action. And so, love that oil. And then humility is the next oil. So humility helps us also to get past the feelings of not feeling good enough. Or have you ever just said that, you're just tired of not knowing? You're tired of sitting in the IDK syndrome. What's the IDK syndrome? Do you remember what the IDK syndrome is? The I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's the next step. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that feeling. And I'm guessing that you don't either. So humility helps you to get past those feelings of not good enough. Such a good oil. Take the time to deeply breathe and get that into your olfactory system, right into the amygdala, to the seat of your memory and emotion. And have you ever felt just tired of not knowing, tired of not doing, tired of not achieving, tired of just the same old humdrum, day after day, doing the things that you always have done, doing the things that you always know, just the same old routine? Have you ever just got tired of that? Use some humility. And then valor, and then our valor, our beloved valor. Taking these deep inhalations of valor. Remember what we talked about in the very beginning? If you have those feelings of, not being able to cope, or barely able to cope, or you're struggling to cope, almost like, it's just like not worth it kind of feeling. Anyone feel like that? So valor is well known for its ability to give you courage, to help you cope with confidence, to help you achieve with confidence. So you have this confidence without aggression, or confidence without the fear of conflict. So it's not like you have this arrogant, I'm doing it kind of thing. It's a settled, grounded, inner aligned confidence with the knowingness that you got this. Does that appeal to you? It really appeals to me. And so this, I'm curious about your thinking now. I'm really curious about your thinking of these oils in relationship to the paradigm of your terror barrier. And remember yesterday that we said that the difference between success and failure is making a decision. And one of the things that keeps you locked into fear is not making a decision. And remember that we said that you can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. the lack of being able to make a decision and getting stuck in the terror barrier and thinking that it's what you're making the decision about, or that you've made the wrong decision, that can be like a prison wall. So I hope you're beginning to understand this better. You don't want to continue mindlessly doing what you've always done. So what we're doing here is we're peeling off those shackles of illusion and giving you a new perspective. And today is the day that you can pivot and go in the direction of your goals and dreams. So if you haven't written them down yet, if you haven't written down yet what you'd like to do, take out your pen, and even if it's in teeny tiny, teeny weeny little writing, write it out and give yourself permission to say yes. And so I'm going to explain this, give you a nugget of the terror barrier, and then I'm going to explain it in more detail. So there's 4 steps to growth. And the first step is bondage. And then the second step is reason. And the third step is when you hit the terror barrier. And the fourth step is when you come out on the other side. And so this first step is bondage. We call it when you entertain an X-type idea, or you get it, you have this X-type idea, and X-type idea is just the same kind of thing that you've always done, and it's going to get you X-type results. And you're just doing the same thing over and over. Just the humdrum over and over repetition of whatever it is that you're accustomed to doing. And you can be successful. It doesn't mean you're not being successful. And others can even look at you and think like, whoa, like they're amazing. They're so successful. Yet you're living in bondage because you're just doing the same humdrum thing over and over again every day. And it's not motivating when you're not feeling fulfilled. You're just doing the same thing day in and day out. And then there's the space of reason. And so this is when you start to entertain a why idea, which is something that you really haven't done before. It's different than what you're doing now. It's different than what you're involved in it now. It's probably something you've never done before. It's what we call the C-type goal. And the only requirement for that is that you want it, but you still have this X-type programming or this X-type paradigm, and you haven't gotten emotionally involved with the Y-type idea yet, or you haven't impressed it onto your subconscious mind. And so you're still taking the X-type actions, and you're still getting the X-type results. And you're in this reasoning state of, being reasonable about things. And so then step 3 is when you start to hit the terror barrier. And the reason you start to hit the terror barrier is because you're getting emotionally involved with the Y-type idea, and you're beginning to impress it onto the subconscious mind. And that makes the terror barrier come up, and you hit the terror barrier. And if you don't go through it, you bounce back into bondage. If you go through it, you go on into freedom, because freedom is on the other side of the terror barrier. It's on the, in bondage is when you have this type X conditioning, and it's similar to it's simply the programming that you already have, and you do whatever is in alignment with your paradigm and with your current programming. And by doing that, you attract the things that you're already in harmony with. And then you have this awareness that there is this thought power that is flowing through you, and you can shape it any way you choose. Yet you choose the X-type thought because that's what's in alignment with your paradigm. So most of the time, you don't even know that there are other possibilities out there, that there's all these Y-type possibilities out there. You simply choose X-type thoughts You choose X type actions because that's what you've already done. That's what you already know. This is what's called bondage. Then you say, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to entertain a Y type idea. And yet all the time you're entertaining that Y type idea, you continue doing X type activities. Nothing really changes. And this can be the frustrating thing for many, many people because they're thinking about their Y type idea. They might even be repeating the Y type idea, and nothing is changing. And that's because it's only in your conscious mind. You aren't really feeling it to the point where you're getting into the frequency of the goal being real. This is why we talked about, I'm not sure what day it was, of that you're thinking of the goal rather than thinking from the goal. So you have to get into the place where you're thinking from the goal. If you're still thinking of the goal, well, when this is the case, you won't be attracting any ways or anything that it is that you're saying that you want to do. You will continue to attract what's in alignment with your paradigm, with the X type thoughts and ideas. Nothing is really happening because it's only in your conscious mind. So now here's where it gets interesting. So you have this Y type idea and you begin to impress it onto your subconscious mind. In other words, you get emotionally involved with it. In other words, you get in harmony with it. In other words, you start thinking, you've been thinking and talking and writing and envisioning and imagining, and you get to the place where you're in emotional alignment with it. So you think from the goal. And you start thinking about the actions that you want to take from the goal. And then you get all concerned and fearful. And that's when you're hitting the terror barrier. You start feeling, inside of you. And then you go like, oh, forget it. Forget it. This is way too uncomfortable. I see people do this all the time. It seems like a great idea in the beginning and they say yes. And then they begin to impress it onto the subconscious. They begin to take action and then they like, wham, hit the terror barrier. And because it's like, then they go right back into the comfort zone. And they forget all about what's on the other side. They forget all about the why. They forget all about why they wanted to do this in the first place. And they don't go through the terror barrier. Friends, that is not what you want to do. When you face the fear, you automatically experience the growth that you're seeking. When you face the fear and do it anyway, you're going to come out on the other side victors. So you have to go through that unknown, and you must impress this idea over and over and over. When you get to the situation when you have to go through that terror barrier, get out your valor and get up the courage and go through it, because it's freedom that's on the other side. Who's getting this? Who is this resonating with? Where are you on the journey? I'm not even sure if the comments here. I have to scroll to do the comments. I have the YouTube up and I see there's comments, but anyway, so just post the comments and I'll read them later. Where are you on this journey? Is this making sense to you? Mixing the X type idea with the Y type idea is like mixing your oil with water. They don't mix. And if you're trying to mix the one with the other, this is when your central nervous system gets all a judder and you get, all the adrenaline starts pouring and there's like this conflict, internal conflict. You can't mix them. You either are going to stay with the X type idea, or you're going to get fully immersed in the Y type idea. You know, the one thing that I learned from Gary when we were building, well, it wasn't one thing, but one of the things that I learned from Gary when we were building the Northern Lights farm, that Gary impressed this on us over and over and over and over. He said that you never look at what you're losing. You always look at what you're gaining. And so if you're coming up against the terror barrier and you're getting all a jitter and nervous, you're looking at what you think you're losing. You're not losing anything, because on the other side is the freedom. Gary always said, you never look at the price, you always look at the prize. You always look at what you're getting and the benefit the experience is going to be to you. If you're looking at what you already have and what you think you're losing, and that you're not losing anything, you're gaining. You're not only going to have this, but you're going to have more. You know, there's this great quote by I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt, that you gain strength and courage and confidence every experience in which you really stop, or really which you step up and look fear in the face fear. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing that you think you cannot do. You know, thinking is not going to get that. You must do the thing that you think you cannot do. Thinking is not going to get you through the terror barrier. Talking is not going to get you through the terror barrier. It's good to express rather than suppress. However, you can't talk yourself into success. You can't talk yourself through the terror barrier. You have to take action. You have to take action. You know, it's not that it's good to express those fears and doubts and worries. And the only way that you are going to progress through them, the only sure way through them, is by taking action. And then you will realize that you didn't really have anything to be afraid of. This is such an important lesson. It's such an important lesson. And I don't think there's any one thing by itself that will enhance and help you transform your self-image than by taking the action that will take you through a terror barrier. This is an essential lesson, just as much as your oils are essential. Understanding the terror barrier is not complicated. However, you don't even have to understand it to move through it. Understanding it intellectually is not my goal here. It's giving you the awareness of what's happening so you can go through it and come out the other side in freedom. So you can achieve your goal and the results that you want in your life. You know, the three most common problems of that we face in life are all encompassed in this coaching program of thinking into results. The three most common problems. Number one is closing the knowing doing gap. You can know all this stuff consciously. If you're not doing it, it's really useless. What it does, it makes you a know-it-all and a do-nothing. And then you live in that X-type frequency that's called bondage. So number one is the knowing doing gap. Number two is getting your self-image in line with who it is that you want to be, what it is that you want to achieve, what it is that you want to have, the income you desire to have, the rank that you desire to be at. And number three is to get you to move through the terror barrier, not to know about it. And so if this doesn't happen, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It would be more proper to say nothing happens in regards to achieving your goal. No one can do these things for you. Not any three. No one can do these things for you. You are the one who's in control. And as we mentioned in the beginning, you have this bondage or stack state, and then the reasoning state, and then it's either reasoning or I think it's also called the conflict state, where you're like, should I, shouldn't I? That kind of a state, like start, stop, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna. Then you hit this terror barrier. And then on the other side is freedom. If you don't go through the terror barrier, you're going to fall back into either the reasoning or the reason or conflict state, or the bondage or stuck state. Who wants that? Who wants to be stuck and in conflict or in bondage and just like, blah, can't figure it out? I don't think you do. I certainly don't. And the problem comes when you permit this old programming to prevent you from something new. You can have, you can know all about this and still not pay much attention to it. However, you must make a conscious decision to let go of the past instead of letting the past control your present. Most people either let the past control their present, or they let the future control their present. Instead, they're either, making decisions because of negativity that happened in the past, or they're making decisions because they're worried about something that might happen in the future. Why not be present right here, right now, and take action? It only works in the present moment, when you are focused on the present moment. And it's so important that you make the decision to stay focused now. Even 2 minutes ago, even 10 minutes ago, it's gone. Even 1 minute ago, it's gone. Can't be changed. Just gone. It's done forever. Let it go. It's a waste of time looking at your results or fretting or focusing on them. The only way that you get to, how can I say it? The only way that you're going to get anything different is to change your present thinking. Stop looking back. Stop worrying about the future, and think about what it is that you can do now. What can you do now? So as an example, here's one of the ways that the terror barrier works. When you first started these 5 days of calls, I asked you all to write down your goal, and how many of you came up with excuses not to do it? That's the X-type thinking. How many of you wrote down your goal and then thought about all the reasons why that was silly, or you couldn't do it, or, all these things are just like silly things to do? That's the X-type thinking. Maybe some of you got this Y-type idea, saying, I would really like to accomplish this, or I want to be a silver, or I want to be a platinum, or I want to be a business owner, or I want to add $2,000 a month to my income, or I want to double my income, or I really want to take this coaching program, or whatever it is. The good news is that you are only thinking about it, and so nothing happens. You don't get uncomfortable because you're only thinking about it. Then you go to the reasoning stage, and this Y-type thinking, as it's the Y-type thinking at the conscious level or the intellectual level, is only going to give you the X-type actions and the X-type results. You're not doing anything about it. And so the good news is, if you only think about it, nothing is going to happen. The bad news, if you only think about it, nothing is going to happen. So in order for something to change or to take place, you have to get the why idea, your goal, your self-image locked in, and to start getting emotionally involved with it so that it begins to impress onto the subconscious. Or the subconscious begins to, you say it often enough, you think about it often enough, you talk about it often enough, that the subconscious begins to accept it. And this is where the conflict can set in. This is where you can get the jitters inside. So basically, whatever the idea is, whatever you are turning over to your subconscious mind through repetition, now what happens when this happens is that this why idea strikes the subconscious or begins to impress into the subconscious, and your paradigm shows up to be in conflict with this new why idea. So what happens is that now you have the X idea in there and you have the Y idea in this attempting to occupy the same space. And so it causes conflict. You know, it's kind of like siblings at loggerheads with each other. There is nothing wrong with you when this happens. There is nothing wrong with your idea when this happens. There's nothing wrong with what you were thinking. There's nothing wrong with the goal. We have been programmed that when our body isn't well, that there's something wrong. What is really happening is that you are entertaining an idea that's not in line with your paradigm. And so it causes the frequency or the vibration to be like disrupted. You needed to simply, you know, pause, hit that pause button for a moment, and hit that internal pause button, and you decide what it is that you really want. You decide. You can even take a step back and in your thoughts and go, okay, when was I feeling really good? And what was it you were thinking that when you were feeling really good, you were just thinking about the idea? So it all happens in the thought state. You know, part of it too is that you will have your paradigm won't be in alignment with the thought because, you know, so for example, what if you're saying that you want to build a young living business, and yet you have a belief that network marketing is like kind of a dumb business, or like you just have paradigms about network marketing, then everything's going to come up to rock your boat, so to speak, and make you feel uncomfortable. You have to remove the conflict of your belief. Even maybe, you know, that you're saying that, well, if you're going to do well in any type of a business, or if you're wanting to add to your income, or if you want to double your income, anything where you're going to do anything where you'd be getting a better income from it, well, maybe you have a belief about money or people with money that's in conflict with the idea, and it will stop you from achieving your goal. If money is part of the compensation, you know, generally the terror barrier happens as a result of a new idea. A positive idea is what we call a new positive idea that is beyond what you've already done, is also called a why idea in this arena of the terror barrier. So it's an idea that is different than what you have previously been doing. And anytime you set out to do something new that you have never done before, it sets up a conflict with the mental program and with your paradigm. So make peace with the fact that you're going to get uncomfortable, or with the possibility of getting uncomfortable when you're taking these action steps towards your C-type goal, and you come up against this terror barrier and you get uncomfortable. There is nothing wrong. In fact, it's a time to celebrate and rejoice and say, yes, that means I'm taking action. You embrace the discomfort with the, you know, the confirmation or the affirmation that you're on the right track. You know, according to the law of opposites, according to the law of opposites, you can't have one without the other. You can't have a positive thought without a negative one wanting to show up. Which one are you going to put your attention on? It's that simple. Energetically, when you get a new idea, the old one is going to pop up. Which one do you want to put your attention on? The key to freedom and the key to going through the terror barrier is to take action, not letting the uncomfortableness, is that a word? Not letting the uncomfortableness stop you. Only focus on where you're going and why you are going there. This is how you get to your goal. And remember that the how of your goal is not up to you. You have to take a step in faith. Or you can let fear keep you stuck. Where are you? Where are you? Which one is meaningful to you? You know, it's similar to getting in your car and heading down the road. Hey, and you know where you're going. You know, maybe you're going to town, maybe you're going to the grocery store, or you're going to get the mail, or you're going to the lake, or you're going skiing. You can picture your destination in your mind's eye. And yet when you get in the car, you can't see your destination in physical form. You just see it, you just know where you're going. And when you think of the person that you would like to become, you can't yet see that person until you remember that you're here and you want to go there. And so instead of thinking of the goal, you get into the place where you're thinking from the goal, because you get in harmony with the goal. When you decide that you're going to go for it, you can either let fear be the motivating force that stops you from doing the things that you need to do to achieve your goal, or you can make a decision to let faith show you the way. You know, this doesn't happen with you sitting where you are sitting right now, doing the same things that you've been doing up until now, thinking the same way that you have been thinking up until now. You cannot see all the way to your goal. You simply have to take a step in faith and trust the way will open up. And, you know, referring back to what Jason said, I want to be that voice in your head that encourages you and supports you. Let me help you. Let me help you. You know, anytime that you are setting a goal that results in you doing something different than you've ever done before, this thing called the terror barrier will loom up in front of you. And the more times you face it and go through it, the easier it gets. Whenever you make a serious change in lifestyle, when you are moving out of your comfort zone, out of what's normal, you run up against this thing we call the terror barrier. So with any change that would come under this category of major change in your behavior, major change in your actions, the terror barrier will instantly and automatically be standing between you and the good that you desire. And it's the knowing that this is happening for a reason, and for the reason is good. It means that you're moving in the right direction. There's nothing wrong. It simply means that you're moving in the right direction. You know, I often have people call me up and say, oh, you know what? I'm just feeling like, so uncomfortable with this. And, you know, I think maybe this isn't the right program for me. And they've been doing it for 6 months, but they've come up against another terror barrier. And the paradigm has them so convinced, they're not recognizing that, yeah, they've already made so much growth. And because they're moving into action, there's this uncomfortable feeling that the paradigm is causing you this conflict. It's not that it's the wrong program. It's not that your goal is wrong. It's because you're taking action. And so at this stage, you have a choice. You can step back into safety, into the old place of bondage and comfort, and continue to experience the same old humdrum feelings year after year after year, or you can be courageous and experience the growth that you have been seeking. And, you know, I just keep thinking about what Jason said. I know how often that Bob has been in my head saying, like, you have to show up. You know, show up. Like, the times when you don't want to show up is the time that's probably most important for you to show up. And I hear him saying that all the time. And so I want to be that voice in your head that encourages you, that supports you, that helps you achieve the goals and dreams that you want to achieve. And so my request for your homework today is, let me help you. Let me help you. Reach out personally to me, or reach out to Katie, set up an appointment, and let me help you. You know, let me help you more. You know, Katie is going to come on now and share how that happens, how that can happen, or you can reach out to me directly, personally, for a free 30-minute consultation. I want to hear from you. I want to help you. I want to be part of your dreams and goals. It's been great to have these last 5 days with you, and I look forward to working with you personally. Your goal is calling your name, and let me help you achieve it. Katie, are you here? Awesome. Go ahead. Take it away from here. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Awesome. Well, I am going to just share with you now how the how part of how you can work with Carol. And I just also want to preface it with the why I am sharing this with you. And the why I am sharing this with you is because having Carol as my mentor has changed my life dramatically. It's changed my family's life dramatically, and it's changed my happiness, my sense of peace inside. It's changed my bank account dramatically. It's changed how I expect things are going to go in my day. It's changed my attitude when I wake up in the morning. And I just can't recommend that you link arms with her and have her as your mentor too. And this year, Carol has changed her mentorship program in a way to make it guaranteed that you will get the results that you want. So when you commit to a mentorship with her, it's for a year. It's a year long. So you work with her and you have every day you do a little bit of work. And at the end of the year, you really need a telescope to look back to see the growth that you have made. And I am a testament to that. When I first started working with Carol, for example, there is no way I would get on this screen and talk to what's really hundreds, thousands of people. The videos this week, I just shared with Carol, the videos that we have posted just in the last 4 days, as of an hour ago, have been viewed 492 times. And so I'm sure that that's increased significantly by now. So we're in front of a lot of people, and it's really fun, and it's inspiring me because I want more people to achieve their goals and to get ahead, like I see is happening and unfolding in my life. So I'll get to the specifics and share with you what it entails and how much it costs and what you do and the steps that you take. So the year is structured like this. So for the first 6 months, I'm just going to look at this screen here because it has the details. So For the first 6 months, you do a program that was created by Bob Proctor called Thinking into Results. And you really learn how to change your thinking. So to start, you have a one-on-one session with Carol, an onboarding session. Then you receive video lessons that are from Bob Proctor that you watch daily and or listen to. Like I do it while I'm doing the laundry or driving, something like that. It's all about just a repetition and getting it into your subconscious. And then you also have 12 lessons that accompany Bob's lesson, 12 lessons from Carol, with an oil facilitation that helps you, that aids you to really get the lesson to sink in. So when you use your oils and you're thinking about your lesson, it scientifically goes into your brain and it absorbs this new way of thinking better. So you get an oil lesson from Carol. Now, so you listen to these lessons daily. You also get a digital textbook, and then you show up every week on Tuesdays for a live call with Carol. And you can ask questions. You get a training live every week. So you listen all week, you do some writing each day. It's not overwhelming amount of stuff. It's just a little bit of work each day, and it builds and builds and builds, and the growth is amazing. You also join in our Telegram, a private Telegram group that's separate from the YL Success Secrets groups, where you can connect with other people that have already gone through the program, that have achieved their results. You can ask questions and get support, and that is amazingly helpful. So that is for 6 months. So you have a lesson to listen to, you have a little bit of writing to do daily, you meet with Carol weekly, and you connect with your peers in the Telegram group, and you can ask questions. Then the next 6 months, you do a program that was created by Bob Proctor called the Science of Getting Rich program. Just the title, I think, brings up some terror barrier. I know it did bring up terror barrier for me, like some uncomfortableness, the science of getting rich. What does that even mean? And that makes me feel like maybe that's not a good thing. I know that brings up some uncomfortable feelings for people, but not that. It is it is a life-changing program. And so it's 4 months long, and the group coaching continues weekly with Carol. You continue asking questions, but you get new lessons from Bob, and there's 16 lessons in this program, and you study a different lesson each week. So you listen to the lesson over and over again, and then you continue in the private Telegram group. And the premise is, it's about discovering the secret to producing wealth and really living the life that you want. And Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher present this in such a way that you begin to understand at the beginning that there is a science to abundance. There is a science to getting rich, and you will learn that. So this puts you into 10 months into the year, and then there's then you go into a program called Magic in Your Mind, and that you do that program with Carol for 6 weeks. And that is to develop your higher mental faculties. And this is the key to kind of putting all of these lessons all together and to really making it click and really making it happen, to creating thoughts that will produce the success that you want. And so you'll have 6 audio lessons from Bob and also from Mary Morrissey. Some of you may be familiar with Mary Morrissey. She is a thought leader in this same type of work of human potential, achieving your goals, living the life of your dreams. So you also get daily exercises to further your understanding and developing all of your mental faculties. Now, I hope someone will type in the chat, maybe, do you even know what your mental faculties are? that we are gifted with. So let's chat more about that. Okay, and we'll wrap up how the year culminates. So the final 2 weeks, you will do a 2-week review, guided by Carol, of all of the Thinking into Results program, of the Science Getting Rich program, and the Magic of Your Mind program. And you will review all of your notes, and you'll have some major ahas, and you'll be able to really be proud of yourself for the progress that you have made, and look back at your old notes and you'll be like, wow, where I have come so far. So then you also have you'll have a one-on-one in-depth meeting with Carol to review the year and really talk about implementing all that you have learned so that you continue on your trajectory of success. And then you will have a graduation mastermind with your peers that have also gone through this year-long program. So the cost that is associated with this incredible year-long program does not even hold a candle to the value. So when I sort of added up the cost of Carol's time and all of the products and all of the content you receive and all of the videos and the exercises and all of that, it came to $17,500. So for the program of Thinking into Results for 6 months, the Science of Getting Rich for 4 months, Magic in Your Mind for 6 weeks, and 2 weeks of intense review, graduation, mastermind, and one-on-one meeting with Carol, $17,500. What Carol is offering for this year, for right now, is that there are 3 payment options. So the total to pay in full is $8,000 for the year, USD. Or you can do 6 monthly payments of $1,500, or you can do 12 monthly payments of $800 USD. Now, if you are Canadian, send Carol a quick text, because of the in-country e-transfers, there's opportunities for even more savings. So send her a quick text and let her know that you are Canadian and you are interested in year-long mentorship. Her personal cell phone number is 250-588-1505. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to me, and I'll be happy to share more of my personal experience. And there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of testimonies that I can also share with you from Carol's clients that have achieved massive success by being mentored with her. And, everyone needs a mentor. Even Tiger Woods has a mentor. Oprah Winfrey has a mentor. The most successful people in life have mentors to walk side by side with you, to believe in you, even when maybe sometimes you don't believe in yourself. So with that, I would highly recommend that you join me in having Carol as your mentor, and let me know if you have any questions. Again, you can reach out to me through Telegram Messenger or through or on email. My email is studio@katymbaughn.com. And I wish you all the success and a wonderful year. Thank you.